I just put out a video about what I believe AI is going in real estate. And a lot of people still ask me, okay, Isaac, but I still want to use ChatGPT to create content. Because in my video, I said, it's really not going to be all about creating content, although that's a big part of it. But writing property descriptions and helping me write captions for my Instagram videos, it's just the start. I believe that the back office is really where it's going to make the biggest impact. That said, I'm going to give you guidance on some really simple ways to use ChatGPT specifically, or really any other AI that writes content, and how to prompt it, because sometimes people don't understand the prompt framework. And this framework, if you use it, it's going to take your ability to use things like Claude or ChatGPT or Perplexity to the next level. So I'm going to break it down for you. It's going to be a super short video, but it will be impactful. I'm not going to pretend like this is the best, most in-depth AI video you've ever seen. It's absolutely going to be the one that you can deploy consistently. And to me, what matters more is consistency over perfection, because perfection doesn't exist. So stop trying to become an AI expert and get started being consistent. Then you can build from there. I use a lot of advanced AI tools in my business, from transaction management to marketing to lead generation, all these other things. But here's the thing, you got to start somewhere. This is that video, a beginner's guide to using prompts, advanced prompts in ChatGPT and other AIs. Let's jump right in, get started. As a reminder, before we jump in, Isaac Guzman with Real Estate CEOs and Agent War Room, always giving you the best, most relevant information on all things real estate. And so when it comes to AI, that's going to be no different. Now, keep in mind, like I said at the beginning of this video, consistency is going to trump the level of how you do it, right? You can be amazing and way better at AI than I am, but if you're not consistent with using it and managing it, then who cares? I don't really care. And if you're going to go take 15 hours worth of classes about AI, but you're going to be inconsistent and not do anything until you feel like you've completely understood and mastered it, well, I'm going to beat you 9 times out of 10. And the reason why is because I'm just going to be consistent with really simple frameworks. So let's jump into that simple framework. Framework number one is going to be our basic prompt formula. Everything's going to be based off of this. I'm going to break it down for you. Super simple. Number one, you got to tell the AI its role. So in ChatGPT, you're going to tell it its role. You're the best book writer. You write the best webinar outlines in the world. You're an experienced research expert on blank, right? That's the role you need to tell it first. You need to let it know what it is and what persona, I guess, and knowledge that it's going to be assuming. Because if you just ask it a question without telling it what it is, it will give you a very different answer. Go ahead and test it. I've tested it a bunch of times. It's very insane how different the outcomes will be, the responses will be, just by not telling it what its role is, right? So usually I say you're world-class or you are an expert blank. So for example, you are an expert copywriter for direct sale marketing in real estate. All right. Number two is background. You got to give it the background on what's going on. My name is Isaac. I run a real estate team and a mortgage team in San Diego, California. I've been in the business this long. Here are unique value propositions. Here's my belief about why clients would want to choose us over anybody else, right? You give it that background. Next is the goal. I want you to write out this kind of script. I want you to write a script for my next 5 Instagram videos that are going to be educating San Diego home owners about why they should use their equity to purchase investment properties in other states. I don't know, right? That's the goal that we got to do. Now, right now, the task, right, is what you have to do. Now, write out the script for these next 5 videos. So the goal is what you want the outcome to be. In other words, I want people to see me as the authority. I want people to see me as the person who they can go to for, advice about investing out of state by leveraging their high equity assets in Southern California, right? That's the goal. The task is write the script. And then next is the format. Give it to me in a narrative form with information about where my camera should be placed, whatever that is. Build a chart, right, of the different videos that I'm going to shoot, make it into a chart so I can use it as a content calendar, right? So again, kind of reiterating, it's the role of the AI, the background that you have, the goal that you're seeking, the task that it should perform, and what format it should be in. Right? Maybe it's write an article for you that's different than a video script. Got it? So that's the format. The next one's a little bit more advanced. It's similar stuff, but giving the AI a background, right? Hey, I'm me, giving it the goal, giving it the role. But then here's where it gets a little bit different. This is where you ask the AI to extract information from you. So you'll say something like, "Hey, I'm Isaac. I run a real estate team in San Diego and a mortgage team, and here's what I think people should use us, blah, blah, blah. The goal is I want to create a webinar series that gets San Diegans excited about partnering with us on buying multifamily properties or units that they can buy and build ADUs in the back." Right? That's the goal. The role. You are a world-class content writer that specializes in webinar conversion and online marketing. And now here comes the request. This is where the prompt gets really interesting. I want you to ask me 15 questions, one by one, by the way. I like doing the one by ones. Sometimes when it gives me 15 questions right out the gate, I'm like writing a 15-page document just to answer this thing. I want one question at a time. So ask me 15 questions one at a time to get better context for how we can do this, right? So it's going to do that. Now, the task that I want you to do is then take those answers and start writing the script in a in two form, and then you go to format, right? Task and then format. And I want it in a chart so I can throw it in my content calendar for my marketing team. And I also want the scripts and the captions for each one of those short form videos that push people to my webinar series, right? Boom. So in that case, what it's going to do is it's going to ask you questions and probe and pull information from you so that it could be better informed. That's a really advanced way to do it, and it's by far more effective than the first one. Now, here's where it gets a little meta on this last one that I'm bringing in, and I'll talk about something else in just a second. But where it gets really interesting is, what if you had AI write the prompt? So right now, the first two were prompts that you feed the AI. What if you told the AI, "Hey, you are a professional prompt writer for AI usage," right? Well, then you would say that's the role you would give it, but you would tell it that it is going to write a prompt, and then you're going to feed that prompt back to an AI, right? It's really interesting how it works, because imagine all you have to do really is tell it that role, give it your background, and say, "Hey, make prompts for me, but these are my goals," right? So in that case, it's tell it its role as a prompt writer, give it your background, give it your goal, and then say, the task is give me prompts. So in this case, maybe we're doing that webinar thing. Give me prompts based on all this stuff. My goal, is driving people to the webinar. Give me prompts to feed to an AI so that I can craft my entire marketing plan from landing page to email campaigns to social media posts to ads, right? Whatever it is, and the webinar itself with an outline of what the webinar should look like in terms of a PowerPoint presentation. That's crazy, but it will go write the prompts. Then you would take those prompts, throw them back into a new chat in AI, and have it start writing. That's where it gets really, really powerful. And you'd be surprised at how well AI can now handle that prompting to create prompts. Now, I'm going to give you two short bonuses. I know I only talked about three prompts real quickly, but I want to give you two short bonuses. One is ChatGPT specifically. Tell it that it is a translator. If you work in an area like I do where people speak different languages, we have a lot of Spanish speakers, we have a lot of agents on my team that don't speak Spanish. And so, because of that, you want to learn how to translate in real time. So, you can have a prompt that is, you are a world-class translator. I want you to translate from Spanish into English in real time. I don't want any filler words. I want the context, and I want you to be able to speak it to me directly, right? And give me an answer back or ask me a couple questions based on what it said, and help me propose an answer and read that answer to the client. Guys, using AI at an open house with people who do not speak your language or you don't speak theirs is incredibly helpful. Use it this weekend. Absolutely do that. Now remember to tell it to take out any filler words that are unnecessary for context. That's an important one. And then say it's a real-time translator, so that way it processes it right away. Use the voice feature on ChatGPT. If you don't have ChatGPT Pro, like, make sure you get it. It's only $20 a month. Really worth it. If you convert one lead off of that this whole year, it'll have paid for itself for the next 5 years, right? And then the last little bonus is this. And you may have already seen something like this, but I think it's really important to point out. Interpreting photos. I think interpreting photos is really helpful, but not in the way that you think. A lot of people are just using it on inspection reports, and that's amazing. If you're not using it on inspection reports, start doing that right away. Start uploading entire inspection reports and say, hey, go ahead and go through this inspection report looking for major health and safety issues. Write those down, and let's start formulating a plan for requests for repairs by first having context for our buyers. Then, after we speak with them, I'll plug some more information back into that AI and say, okay, help me prepare for the conversation with the listing agent to not feel super aggressive, but also get our point across that we believe we need these credits because of these repairs that need to be done. This is what I mean by interpreting photos, though. What if you're walking a property that you're thinking about buying or you're thinking about listing, and there's a palm tree back there, right? And it's really close to the house. And you're in a rural area in California that has fire insurance issues like Fair Plan Act, like out where I'm at, right? Well, that palm tree might be a thing that has to be removed. And some of those things can cost you $10,000, $15,000 to remove. If they're not healthy, they have to be taken out, right? There's lots of things that go on there. What you can do is you can take a picture and you can say, hey, give me the genus of this plant and tell me its relative health and how I can care for it and what it might cost me to remove it, or should it, will it create any issues when conveying this property, right? Like that, it can actually do that. And so that's a really important thing to be able to do. Maybe you're taking pictures and you go, well, what are these stains right here? As a matter of fact, there was actually a real situation not too long ago with a client where they had redone some landscaping outside, and there was these red marks, this kind of like red line all around the back of the house on the stucco. But the stucco wasn't messed up or anything, it was just discolored. Well, I knew from experience, I was like, oh, well, that's super simple. At one point, this ground was covered with mulch. Someone had got that red mulch from like Home Depot or something like that, and they covered it there, and then it got wet from some rain or whatever. And so it stained it. Whereas they were like, oh my God, like, what is this? Is this some kind of, mold or whatever it is? Like, no, I absolutely know what that is. Well, here's the thing. I actually tested chat gpt on that, and it, it came up with the right answer. I was super surprised, a little offended that it was as smart as me, even though I've been in real estate for a long time. But in either case, those are the types of things that we got to be doing when you're going on a listing appointment. Take pictures and say, hey, what are some potential challenges with this part of the house or whatever it is, this discoloration? What might that be? Now, real quick, I'm not your broker, but here's the one thing I will tell people. I don't care what the AI tells you. That is not something you're writing in your agent visual inspection disclosure. That's not what we're talking about. We're just talking about what are some potential problems and how can I manage them? How can I explain them? But I'm not putting that in like disclosures because again, it hasn't been investigated. So what I mean by that is, let's say it said, oh, that's probably mulch. I wouldn't say on my visual inspection, and this isn't a training class, but I always just got to say it to kind of cover my butt, is in my agent visual inspection, I'm not going to go mulch stain on the backside of the stuff. No, I'm just going to say discoloration. That's not to say I won't say, hey, I'm pretty sure this is mulch to my client, right? Just something to think about. I'm sure there was some broker sitting there like snapping their pencil, being like, this guy. Right. So I figured I'd put that on there. But, anyways, using AI, again, I think it has way more relevance on the back office and how it's going to help people manage transactions better, compliance, all those different things to lower the cost and really help brokerages streamline, teams streamline, which helps the individual agent because they don't have to deal with as much nonsense. So, I think that's really where it's at. But that said, here's how you can use some really simple AI prompting and become a master at using AI to write really amazing content, especially in the marketing, advertising, and conversion space. If you found some value in this video, please make sure that you like it. Don't walk away without making a comment. If you think I'm right, wrong, doesn't matter, drop a comment in there. And as always, you can come check us out anytime you want. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell as well if you want to join us on our free online platform. Agentwarroom.com is how you do it. We've set it up to have free access for anybody that goes. And if you're ever curious about how we partner with agents, team leaders, brokers just like you all across the country, then you go in the description below. Click that link to book one-on-one time with me. I'll see you on the other side. Keep crushing it in real estate.